Welcome to the VIA podcast, the 4,000 kilometre ultracycling challenge across Europe, where community meets competition. Here we talk about the fascinating people and their stories behind the event. I'm Ian, the founder and main organiser of VIA.
I'm Pete Alfano. I'm a steel frame builder, bike fitter and ultra race mechanic who drives the broom wagon at VIA, collecting broken bikes and broken riders and getting them back on the road.
Today, we're delighted to be talking to our guest, Jason Vail, who will be a VIA Trilogy rider from the US.
Trilogy rider.
Yeah, Trilogy, yes.
Yeah. All right, so first of all, some quick fire questions. How old are you?
I am 54. Yep.
What's your middle name?
My middle name is Jason. My first name is William. I went by Jason so they could call my dad William.
Okay. Favorite ultracycling snack?
Oh, it's probably Coca-Cola or Swedish fish.
Swedish fish?
Yeah.
You mean like...
Gummy fish. Yeah. You don't call them Swedish fish?
What is Swedish fish?
You've confused Ian.
The little red gummy fish. What do you call them?
I don't think we have them here.
Oh, we don't.
No, they're not. It would be Haribo would be the closest, I guess. But the Swedish fish don't. Yeah.
It's definitely in the Haribo sphere. Yeah.
Yeah. The Swedish fish that I know of is the one that they bury in the ground, allow it to ferment for a month, then dig it up. And
is that lutefisk?
No, that's the Norwegian lutefisk. I think it's called rakfisk, or what's the other one? I can't remember. But don't open it on a plane; it's banned.
I was going to say that sounds like the world's most offensive ultracycling snack.
Yeah.
I like a little sugar boost. It's not the most nutritious fuel, but
nice. Next question, Pete.
Bivvy or hotel?
Both, definitely both. I like to bivvy in a bush, and then I like to really take it up to about a 4-star hotel sometimes to get a nice mix.
Yeah. It makes you really appreciate the hotel that way.
Oh, yeah.
Luxury.
Yeah. So I stayed in the Hotel Edelweiss in Berchtesgaden this year, and it was very luxurious. The bathtub was so big that I just got into the tub with all of my laundry and just sort of bathed and did my laundry and listened to the TCR podcast and laughed at all their trials and tribulations. It was really like the schadenfreude that I could experience in that huge tub. And I had a delicious pretzel breakfast buffet area where they cut the pretzel in half and put about a half a stick of butter on it for you. So it was definitely luxurious.
I bet you made that hotel room a bit dirtier than it started off.
Yeah, I definitely did. I took every towel and used it to dry my clothes. But it had that most luxurious item in a hotel, which is a drying rack that actually works. So many of those things don't. I find it hard, maybe because I'm from America, I don't know how to operate them correctly. But if you can get those things to turn on, you can dry all your stuff much faster.
True luxury.
Yeah, I like to bivvy outside too. And I think I have a little bit of more able to be out in the sort of the wet and the cold than some others. So if I can get in a bivvy bag and just like barely survive, and I won't be super comfortable, but I can definitely do it. And so I was outside a couple of times this past, in the Campo Imperatore and other places where it was raining, where I don't think other riders would have slept outside. So I mean, I can, with the right equipment, I had a really nice bivvy bag that
nice
kept most of the rain out. So
that's mandatory equipment for Chapter 3. So it sounds like you're already properly equipped.
Yes, I have one of those outdoor research numbers that, I mean, I guess they're quite expensive, but I would say worth it.
So where are you now?
I'm in Philadelphia, Center City, Philadelphia.
What's your profession?
Yeah, my profession is IT for the University of Pennsylvania. So I do some IT work to support the mission of the university, education, research. It's been doing that at Penn for 25, almost 30 years. So
so we guess that your career was in IT because of the wonderful route inspector that you've created for the community to check Chapter 3. So,
sorry, Ian, to interrupt. Is this the moment where I tell Jason that you told me before Jason came on the line that he was over 60.
Yeah, I mean, it's too late now. Yeah.
I misremember lots of things.
Yeah. You were just basing that on memory of my age, not my looks. I'm assuming.
Definitely not. You look.
I think your general air of intelligence and worldly wise kind of. Yeah.
Well, that's wise.
Well recovered, Pete. Yes.
I didn't say it. I thought you were my age.
Stuck me in a hole there, Pete.
Well, how old are you, Pete? Not that I'm asking you the questions, but
I'm 44.
Okay.
He looks double my age, even though he's only 1 year younger.
Okay. Yeah.
So, when did you start ultracycling? What was your first ultracycling race?
My first ultracycling race was it's called Crush the Commonwealth, and it's a ride in Pennsylvania it's like an underground Instagram ride organized probably by some rando / bicycle messenger type folks. It's from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, and then alternate years it's from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia. So it's 380 miles. So I'll let you convert that to kilometers.
I can't.
And yeah,
we live in the UK, you know.
Yeah, so you can do both. Yeah.
Well, we can't. I can't do metric yet.
600, give or take.
Yeah.
Did you just use Google?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that for the first time, and it was I loved it. And it was pouring rain the whole time, and I did it on a cross bike. Just slung some bags onto it, and went as fast as I could for 30 hours. And I've done that ride a couple times, but my first ultra race was TCR 8, number
which
8.
I also did. Yes.
Yeah. So you also did that one
back in 2022.
Yeah.
How did your race end? Because mine ended in tears. I think I was crying a lot.
Yeah, I heard you talking about during the podcast. So you definitely sounded like you had some things to think about out on the road for sure.
Yeah, my mum dying 4 days before the start.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
Yes, I had a much less tumultuous ride, but yeah, I got as far as Bucharest, and then I had to go back to work. So I made a lot of mistakes, learned a lot, but really had fun the whole time.
Did you have fun on the Romanian roads?
I had some fun on the Romanian roads, but I also ran into humongous packs of wild dogs. I used a lady's shoehorn for a boot that was about that big to about, it was like a shoehorn for a boot that I liberated from a hotel room in Bucharest where I stayed, because I knew I was going to need something, because I was getting warnings from riders ahead of me. So yeah, the wild dog problem was for real. But there were some nice roads, and the Transalpina Way was definitely worth the trip. And I like the Romanian people, but I was on some dangerous roads. Mostly when I quit the race, I took the DN7 road all the way from the mountains to Bucharest, which I would not recommend. It was about 180 miles of me just pedaling for my life, no shoulder. There were a lot of there seemed to be a lot of army vehicles on the road because of the war with Ukraine at the time. We weren't that far away, I guess, from the border. So yeah, I got as far as Bucharest and flew home from there. So I didn't quite make it to the finish, but learned a lot about how to do a race. Also, I learned a lot about routing too, which we can get into now or later.
Well, don't ride in the DN7, and
don't ride in the DN7.
I have similar memories of packs of wild dogs and riding on some pretty horrible roads with lots of heavy traffic in TCR 5 back in 2017. So yeah, I was very wary of Romania riding there.
Also, there's a lot of burning trash, or just burning refuse. So that kind of smell, encountered that a lot in Romania too. But yeah, overall, I would visit Romania again for sure.
I would, but just not on a road bike.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest sporting success? What do you think, cycling or otherwise, thing that you're most proud of?
Yeah, probably most proud of so some long distance running stuff, maybe. Running under 3 hours in the marathon, going to the Boston Marathon quite a few times. So that's probably what I would be the most proud of. Yeah. Yeah. I think finishing my first Ultra 2 was a pretty big deal. So I did finish TCR 09, and so made it to Greece, and felt pretty good about that because that was a pretty epic journey for me. So
yeah, lots of off-road there.
Quite a lot of off-road, yeah.
How did you originally find out about VIA?
All the TCR riders on our TCR WhatsApp started messaging each other about it, and they said, "This looks like a really good race," and they knew you or knew about you, and so that's where I heard about it in a TCR WhatsApp. I think there was a Belgian rider, Walter van der Hollen, who told me that I should do it. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done VIA, but
no,
yeah.
But nice for him to suggest it.
Yeah, yeah. I think there were some people, some British folks that knew about you and had heard of the race, and I think we really enjoyed that video of the heavy metal with the mountain bike going through the woods. That you weren't, that was funny.
That says we're not going to make you ride a mountain bike track with a road bike, basically. Leave the mountain bike at home.
Yeah, that hit a chord after having done TCR that year. So I was like, yeah, I'd like to maybe stick a little bit more to the road. I don't need to take this road bike on an 8-hour goat path hike or whatever it is we did.
Yeah, that was. I heard some pretty horrid stories about, especially the final parkour into Thessaloniki, which seemed to be somewhat sadistic.
It felt that way to me, yeah. I got multiple flats. It was like knee-deep sand at points. It seemed unnecessary, but...
some people will go for that.
Yeah.
And, we'll leave them to it. So, Jason, you scratched in quite interesting circumstances in Chapter 1, and you successfully completed Chapter 2, although you arrived after the party. And so I didn't get to spend the time with you after Chapter 2, which was a shame. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you for Chapter 3 and spending a bit more time with you before and after. Hopefully, you get to enjoy Norway. Can you tell us about your impressions from the back end of the race?
Well, yeah, my impressions. I'd say from the back of the race, it's.
Do you have a philosophical outlook?
Well, I am. So I'm definitely not trying to win the race, but I am in race mode the whole time. So it's. I feel like without having that motivation of being in the race and trying to, ride as best as you can, you really wouldn't continue to get up every day and continue the race. So, at no point was I really just in full tourist mode. And I think that's probably true for a lot of the riders in the back. I think last year where there was a lot of, I think everybody was really trying to get to the finish as fast as they could. Everybody has challenges and issues unique to their ride. But I do try to, for me, it's my first time in a lot of these countries. So some of the European riders maybe can come back and visit the Alps or the Pyrenees, but for me, I really want to also experience the country and the cities, the mountains, and everything that all the places we ride through, and also talk to people. I do tend to talk to people for a long time if I strike up a conversation with somebody along the way. I also like to have a nice meal. If not every day, every other day, I have a nice sit down, relaxed meal, hot meal, which I don't think the races on the sharp end of the race normally do.
No, they're far less civilized. It's eating on the bike, smashing food into your mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's warm because it's come from a pocket that's warm, but
that's right.
It may have been warm once in its past life, but it's not warm there.
Yeah. If the cheese is warm, it's usually melting and a little bit sweaty.
Yeah. Body temperature.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I'm still doing 15, 18 hours a day on the bike a lot of the time, just not going quite as far. So 180 miles is probably a very good day for me on the bike at the back. But I'm also trying to, I don't want to be miserable the whole time. I want to enjoy myself. I want to take care of my body and eat enough and sleep enough. I mean, that's more or less my philosophy. It's hard to know where you fit. I mean, if you haven't done an ultra yet, you don't know if you're mid pack, front of pack, back of the pack. But now, I mean, this is going to be my 5th ultra, so it's probably where
your 5th big one, I think.
Yeah, my 5th big one. Yeah, so it's usually where I find myself is towards the back,
But this is like an ultra isn't just 4,000 kilometers, but you've done this year. You will have done 5 4,000 kilometer races on the Trot from 2022. 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 chapters of VIA doing the whole trilogy. And I think you would have completed chapter 1 successfully had you not.
Yes, had I not lost. I misplaced my passport temporarily in a hotel in Lourdes. God
didn't save you there.
No, I think I made a joke about another Miracle of Lourdes to you over the phone, and you sort of, I don't remember you laughing. You gave me the thumbs down.
that like at the hotel as well. If you phone the hotel to tell them you've forgotten your passport, make a Miracle of Lourdes joke. Just hear.
I knew better to do that with them because I mean, I think their clientele are like largely pilgrims. So
lots of nuns. Like the ultracyclist and a lot of nuns. Yeah.
Yes. I didn't even realize I lost my passport until probably 18 hours later. Called the hotel. They had it, and they were very slow to make arrangements with me to get it sent somewhere. I made arrangements to have it sent to Grenoble, where I knew I was going to be in a hotel. It never arrived in time, so I just kept. I called Ian on the phone, asked him, what I should do.
This Ian.
Yeah, that Ian.
Let's chat. I can remember where I think I was at Villette de Barrea, and I think we were just ahead of Adam.
Okay.
Trying to get to the finish in Giovanazzo.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where we were when we had that conversation.
Right. And so you gave me good advice, which was to just keep riding and not worry about moving between countries, France, Switzerland, Italy, wherever it was we were.
Because you're in Schengen, of course, so you don't need a passport across the border.
Schengen area wasn't going to be an issue for me, but I, needed to worry about it to get home, to take a plane home, of course. So, but yeah, I decided to, as a result of just being stressed out about not having a passport and not knowing how I was going to get another one, and I didn't know how easy or hard it was to get a replacement. I decided to scratch as soon as I got into Torino, and then I took the train to Giovanazzo and spent a few days there, and then went to Rome and got a replacement. And it was a bit of a hardship, but I was forced to stay in Rome for 2 nights and do some sightseeing, go to the Palatine Hill and see some of, where Augustus, Livia, and Tiberius had their homes.
Sounds horrendous.
Yeah, so that was, my colleagues at work said that they were pretty sure I did it on purpose so that I could get an extra week.
I'm sorry, I can't come back to work. I've left my passport well, currently I'm stuck in Italy.
I mean, of course, we had a big project due, and they were already feeling like they had made an accommodation for me to go for 2 weeks. So
yeah, I've heard such of excuses being made by other riders who, they missed their flight and they can't get back, so they're going to be maybe a week late, and back to work. They have to stay in Europe. Also, I think Ines Young and Claire Johnson, after they scratched, they spent a good few days enjoying Rome or Tuscany or something, or maybe Florence. They were, so yeah. Make the most of the trip. It's a good philosophy to have.
Yeah. Even last year, I called my boss asking for an extra week so that I could finish VIA last year, and I said that I absolutely promised I would never do another one of these again. So yeah.
Is he still your boss? Or
yeah. Did he know? I think he knew at the time I was lying. So yeah. He just said fine, just finish.
Won't shut up about it if you don't.
Yeah.
That's one forgiving boss. That's
he's very, very forgiving and accommodating. So,
were many bribes given to get that extra week?
Well, I just have to work even harder when I get back, I guess. So, but yeah, there's a lot of interest in the race back at the office. I mean, they'll put the map up and they'll look at the apps during our team meetings, and I'll message them sometimes about where I am, what I'm doing, and what animals I've seen.
Because you have seen some animals, haven't you?
I have seen some animals. I saw a wolf in the Abruzzo coming down from the Campo Imperatore last year. And the villagers were very interested in that and where I saw him. And they told me all sorts of stories about all the terrible things he'd done during the winter and all the dogs and livestock that he'd killed. But I mean, it definitely looked like a wolf to me, not a dog.
You weren't hallucinating at the time, then?
I don't know. I had just slept a good 4 hours, so I think I was able to tell the difference between a dog and a wolf. I had just actually cycled past the sort of the white sheepdogs that they have up there, the big white dogs, and they were all on a cliff together, looking off towards the sun and kind of like soaking up the rays in the morning, which was nice. I didn't get a picture of it, but not too long after, I saw this wolf in the middle of the road, and he was a big boy, and he turned around and he looked at me and just sort of dismissively trotted back into the woods. I mean, he wasn't worried about me at all.
Because all the sheepdogs were sunning themselves on the cliff.
Yeah, they were busy sunning themselves.
The lazy toe rags.
Yeah, and I saw a porcupine in near Firenzuola, which I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. So that was exciting, and plenty of wild pigs as well. So
yeah, boars. Great. I've seen them but they tend to be quite wild and trot off very fast. I've seen them in Italy as well as Czechia, I think.
Yeah. I think you have to worry if they start trotting towards you at speed.
Yeah, and I think I've heard that you need to worry about if they're with smaller babies. You don't want to be seen their babies, but I've seen them quite a few times. Actually, on a cycle path into Grenoble, I saw some. So I wasn't expecting to see them there.
I was just going to say, as you'd said, you'd had a solid 4 hours sleep before that. I hear you've managed to master, much like myself, the art of the micro power nap, because I just love a nap.
Yeah. So in Spain, it was so hot in VIA 1 that you realize why Spanish people take the middle part of the day off. It makes perfect sense. So you would just find a nice tree, maybe get an ice cream, take your cap and just rest it over your eyes, and take a power nap. I remember one time it was in France, and I kind of unwisely decided to just put my tarp down right on the side of the road. And it wasn't a busy road, but just put my tarp down and fell down onto the tarp and started to sleep. And, French passersby would ask, if I was alive. But then Lawrence, the one of our Dutch fellow racers, came by. And
Lawrence Holting.
Lawrence, yeah, Lawrence,
Yeah.
and I yelled out, "Lawrence, you've caught me napping!" And it was a highlight for me. Like I was.
It's good that you were caught napping off the road, because I do know that one of our riders in chapter 1 decided to sleep on the road, and I think she actually had somebody drive up to her and ask if she was alive. So we won't name names. Maybe we'll get her on the podcast.
Did she know she was on a road?
I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe, but
I think so.
I haven't seen traffic for ages. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I do know that. Yeah, the Spanish do love. Yes, we were in Spain following the broom wagon, I stopped in one village to pick up an ice cream, and I was wandering around, and people were coming out. 2 people came out of the houses to see if I was okay, because I was outside in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
You can come and sit down indoors if you want. No, I've got stuff to do. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Mad Dog's an Englishman, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you said you like to sleep on benches and 4-star hotels.
Yes.
What's your preference, though?
I really like to just cycle until I'm exhausted and then lay down somewhere. I really do. I actually enjoy that. It's something that I look forward to. Just being able to concentrate so hard on riding and not having to worry about a hotel, and then just finding an appropriate or a totally inappropriate place to sleep, where when you wake up in the morning, the locals are just asking you why. Why are you here? Sometimes they'll point to, they're like, there's a park right there with, better sleeping arrangements. But yeah,
So
I do.
Where have you slept, which is so inappropriate?
I mean, I was on a bench at the bottom of the Grand Ballon that was just right in the middle of the cycling path. In the morning, hundreds of cyclists went by for this Grand Fondo, and everybody was just asking me, had I slept there? Why? What was I doing? So that was, probably not the best spot I've ever chosen. But I was just too tired to move.
That's a good way to be.
Yeah. I mean, all my junk's just, piled up on the back of the bench. But I like, I've slept in just piles of dirt, in the woods, whatever looks good. When you're that tired, it's as
long as you're not moving anymore, then
yeah,
you're just happy.
As long as you're not in a road, I guess.
Is this a habit you've developed while ultracycling, or did you have it beforehand?
Yeah, I think I've always liked to sleep outside, but yeah, I think just sleeping in random spots. I mean, I have a weird habit of, even if I'm driving in a car somewhere, I'll see a particularly luxurious bus stop and be like, ooh, that's a good sleep spot. Do I need to sleep in a bus stop? No. But yeah, I will scout out. We have these little league baseball fields, and we have these things called dugouts, right? And you have did you call them dugouts in football?
Yeah. So football pitch or dugout.
And so those, for me, like if I see like a porta potty, a water fountain, and like a dugout next to a really nicely groomed baseball field, I mean that's my number one sleep spot in the States. So if you can find that ticks all the boxes.
Have you ever been woken up in a dugout by like kids wielding baseball bats?
I was woken up last year riding towards where Camp David is in Maryland. It's called Mount Catoctin. I was in a park, and some kids are down there at 2 a.m. smoking cigarettes, whatever. And they're like, "There's a man in the park," and I'm like, "I'm not just a man. I'm sleeping. Keep it down. Leave me alone." And they're like, "All right."
Spoke to Wells. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have been stopped by police in Pennsylvania here, more towards the center of the state. I guess I was in a park in some small mountain town, but the neighbors called the police because they were worried about me, I guess. And the police, Yeah. So the policeman came out and just really wanted to know why I was sleeping on this bench with my bike. And I explained to him I was riding from, the mountains to Philadelphia, and that he was trying to think of better sleep spots for me. And I'm like, no, this was really good, except for the neighbors called.
You'll put me to the nearest food. That would be lovely. Thank you very much.
With a reputation of some, I don't know, police and ICE agents, I'd be worried about them stopping and searching me, or maybe shooting me for trespassing.
No, you do have to be careful. I was very respectful at all times. But yeah, I think I won him over in the end. I think he just thought there was something wrong with me, and that, hopefully he just keeps cycling and leaves town soon.
It'll be someone else's problem soon enough.
Yeah.
I think that's the default position over here in Europe. They're just crazy. They're totally innocent, but just
they're not going to injure themselves immediately, and hopefully, if they do injure themselves, they won't be within my area of responsibility.
Yeah,
and so that's enough. I think it's just nice to get a welfare check sometimes. I think when you're out and about.
I don't think you're allowed to wild camp in the Netherlands. Is that right?
I don't think you are.
Yeah. So I was my last night of the race last year. My Achilles hurt so much that I just couldn't cycle anymore. So I slumped down in a bush shelter. It just happened to be across from this farmhouse. And I did notice the next morning, all the kids in the house, every 15 minutes, they would open the curtains a little bit to see, like, he's still there, Dad, and I would wave. I'm like, I'm getting up slowly. Don't worry, I'm leaving.
Well, technically it's not wild camping. You're just napping. No. You didn't set up a tent, did you? So
no.
If you were asleep face down with your helmet on still, yeah.
And how did you get your? I didn't realize you had an Achilles problem. How did you get that? Was it from all the mount?
I think what happened was I bought some pedals, which I thought I bought brand new Shimano pedals, and they ended up being, I think, fake knockoff pedals that really created an issue with both my Achilles. So about 1,000 miles into the race, somewhere in Italy, maybe a little bit beyond, I really got Achilles problems, and I had to replace the cleats. So I thought the cleats were the problem at one point. Then I was creating all these KT tape solutions by taping up my Achilles. And then I realized that slowly the pedals were disintegrating and were falling apart. They were just completely fake, and they had all these, so I think that's probably what created the issue for me. So I ended up having to replace the pedals. One of them basically fell off near Freiburg, and I had to scout out backyards. It was like a Sunday night, and the sun was out, and I was just looking for anybody in their backyard garage who looked like they had bikes. And I found a man named David who I was able to buy some pedals off of, thankfully, and he was very understanding. But yeah, I think that's what the issue was, and so I won't be making the same mistake this year, hopefully.
Where did you get these pedals from?
I got them online. I got them online on Amazon. I probably should have gotten them somewhere else. I probably should have gone to my local bike shop and gotten a decent pair. So
support your local bike shop and also yourself. You must have lost a lot of time there.
I think so. Yeah.
How helpful was the guy David? Was he keen on helping you?
Yes, he was a little bit confused at first, and then he was very, very keen on helping me. I explained to him. I mean, my normal preamble is usually, I'm in a race, and then I'll show them the app, and then I'll point to my name, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, he's in some sort of race, or he thinks he is at least." And so that's, I think, once you do that, and people sometimes get really excited and want to know more, and even download the app sometimes and continue to follow you. I met somebody in Austria that got really into it, and I think probably followed me until I finished.
Nice.
But yeah.
And this David from Freiburg and this Austrian guy, They both spoke English, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's the great thing about Europe is most Europeans speak English.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have it would have been a lot more difficult for me, having no German whatsoever. But yeah,
That's
so
what Google translates for.
that's true. Google Translate works as well. Yeah. So that's the pedal story in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's an excellent. These are the kind of excellent stories that we hope to hear from our riders. And to be honest, I think one of the beauties of an ultra cycling event or cycling a long way at any point is these kinds of like, oh yeah, I saw a wolf, and then I bought some pedals off a man in Freiburg.
Random guy, yeah,
just a random man. I hear you've also learned the word for ice in Spanish. I don't know how the rest of your Spanish is.
Yeah, I think that's the correct word. I needed to learn it when I was in the first couple of days of VIA 1 when we were going into gas stations, and it became apparent that if you could get a large bag of ice and break it up and put it into your bib shorts in various pockets, that was a great solution. So,
Surely not directly under the backside though.
Sometimes, I mean, I have those really nice red and white bib shorts. Have you ever heard of that brand? I highly recommend it. Yeah. They have 2 sets of pockets on the back, and one is quite low. And it does look funny when you put things down there. Like if you put a drink down there, it looks a little off. But yeah, it's a good ice container. It's a good ice shell. Yeah.
I think for context, we should remind everybody it was like 40, 45 degrees in that first week.
It was witheringly hot. And I would say, like, I did okay. I think a lot of the Brits struggled mightily that first day or two. I mean, I won't mention any names.
Go on, just for fun.
But the Italians were fine. They were the only ones still able to eat dinner. We all stopped at a Spanish village, and I was with there was a guy from Scotland, me, and these Italian guys they were absolutely fine. Eating away. They thought it was hot, but
otherwise just a bit hotter than normal.
Not too much off their stride. So
and Mediterranean food, all nice and familiar to them, as well as the temperature.
They had complaints about the coffee, but other than that, it was.
Did they complain anywhere else? France?
I think probably everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere, but
it sounds about right. Yeah.
Even in Italy.
Yeah. They just accept that everywhere else in Europe isn't as good, and they complain about it. But within Italy, it's more of a kind of a regional based complaint. They either don't speak the correct Italian, or they use the wrong word, or they just do it wrong.
Yeah. What do they think about Sicilians, Pete? Though
that we're all stupid is the So the Sicilian is quite different as well from Italian as a dialect. My dad speaks a passable amount of Sicilian, and when we used to go on holiday when I was a child, he would go into a shop and speak Sicilian, and the kind man behind the counter would look at him like he was he'd escaped from somewhere, and then speak to him very slowly in a proper Italian to establish exactly what he wanted. But they all look at you a bit askance when they. I mean, I'm about a foot taller than most of the Sicilians, so they don't really believe I am from Sicily, partly at least.
I mean, it's great. We have such regional variations. It's quite different though for you. I would guess, Jason, coming from the US to Europe and experiencing different culture, different landscapes, different foods, different languages, different variations of languages. How do you compare the riding and all those other things that you experience in your Grand Tour?
Well, the riding is tremendous. I would say some of the riding that the Europeans complain about is absolutely fine for me compared to the U.S. So, I mean, Italy's great for the most part. I don't really have any issues. It's still better than where I normally ride here in the U.S. This weekend, I went on a long 330-mile ride, and I had multiple trucks yell unspeakable things to me, during the ride. Something about me being on a bike is just infuriating to them. So much less of that in Europe. Really, none of that at all. I think Spain, and as it was a highlight for me of riding. I ended up in one of the pictures I shared with you before we met up today. I had a picture with the movie star, a few people who were in the movie star cycling team from VIA. They were incredibly interested in our race. These pro riders wanted to know why we were dressed so inappropriately, why we had all these bags. They were really concerned with wearing arm warmers and leg warmers when it was so hot and the sun was out. And I was trying to explain to them, like, we're cycling all day. But they warned me about, okay, you're in Spain now. You're about to cross over the Pyrenees into France. They were like, watch out. The French drivers are not like the Spanish drivers. They're not as good as we are, and they made, all sorts of comparisons about how much better Spain was for riding your bike than France, which Spain was pretty good.
Yeah.
I do quite like. I think a lot of people like riding in Spain. Very few people don't. I think Rob Roy said he hated it because he'd worked there and it was the worst country ever to ride in. But I don't necessarily agree. I do find it quite funny that you talk about Europeans and we're like, what Europeans? Oh, all those different countries in Europe, which are all very different.
Yeah.
Do you actually?
I mean, all of you. Yeah.
All of you Europeans. Yeah. Not the Brits, because we're not part of the EU anymore. But yeah, do you feel the difference in culture and the change when you've crossed the border? Do you feel how different one country or one region is to another, both from the riding culture, food, or etc.?
Yeah, I did notice a difference going from Spain to France and then into Italy. For instance, this past year, going from Austria to Slovenia was quite a change. I went the morning and I woke up in Slovenia after going down, up and down, and then I had to go back up and down, right, into Slovenia.
The public pass to the gate.
Public pass. I sidled up for my breakfast in Slovenia, and I looked around and I was like, well, I'm not quite sure what they're eating here. Workmen were, eating something. And I said, well, I'm ready for my breakfast. And the waitress asked me, so the spaghetti soup? And I was like, really? Can I get it without the soup? And she said, I guess so. We'll just give you spaghetti. But everybody was eating spaghetti soup with bread, which I had never encountered before. So that was different.
Hot, I assume. Hot.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot. Yeah, soup. Yeah.
For breakfast. I've not heard of this before. I mean,
maybe it's just a Slovenian mountain thing. But I mean, it's very, very different from what I'm used to here, and each country is different as well. Germany, there was always at least one or two good bakeries in every village, no matter how big or small it was, and so that was always good to know. You could always get good baked goods in Germany.
What were your favorite things about Spain other than the riding? How did you find the food there?
My favorite thing in Spain was to have at least two dinners. So I get my 8 o'clock dinner, and then since they eat
very
so
late,
late, I could roll into another town and have a hamburguesas con quesos or something at like almost midnight. So
a hamburger with cheese.
Yeah. I loved having two dinners in Spain. Was great. I feel like deep down I'm really an old Spanish man. That's kind of I'd rather eat dinner at 10.
And then dinner at midnight as well.
Yeah. So food-wise, I mean, I think you're going to like Spain more if you're probably not a vegetarian. I think it's probably better.
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah. So if you don't like ham, it might not be as good for you. But I really enjoyed just being able to eat dinner all night wherever you happen.
And how about France? How did France treat you when you crossed the border in Chapter 1?
France, I had more difficulties. I ended up eating in more McDonald's than I probably would have liked in France. I would arrive someplace and see a wonderful menu, and then be told that they were only making 11 plates for lunch that day, and that I was too late.
Oh,
I mean, I guess it means the food's fresh. They're making only 11 plates for lunch, but yeah. So in France, it was hit or miss. Although this last year a tremendous highlight was after sleeping on the bench on the cycling path and having just an apple for breakfast. About halfway towards the base of the Grand Ballon climb, I just was greeted with the most just throbbing techno music. It was 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and I was like, "Well, this can't. The police are going to be here any second. Like, they can't let this continue." But it's just throbbing. What I think was Alsatian techno music. There was a family that had set up a tent. They were preparing crepes and coffee and all sorts of other pastries for the riders. There was a Gran Fondo that day up the side of the mountain, and so I was able to get as many crepes as I could possibly eat, which was quite a few. Plenty of coffee. So feast or famine, I guess, in France. Yeah. But when you get the food, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very true. The French very strict on their We've made the 11 plates. You're not one of the 11. Get lost. Whereas the Italians, if the Italians sense you might want to eat something maybe in the future, or have been hungry once during your last sort of 3 years, they will feed you until you're never going to be thirsty again.
I think, I would agree. And the Spain was a little bit like that too, where I would walk into a restaurant that had clearly been closed for an hour, and they would just find something to give me. But Italy is very much like that. I did storm out of a restaurant in France.
You stormed out?
I stormed out after making a speech. Some of it was in some sort of French, where I explained to them. She explained to me we had 12 plates, and lunch it's fini, monsieur. Désolé. And I'm like, I want you to understand, France is a food desert. And I think some of the people in the restaurant did enjoy it and laughed as I stormed out.
As you clip-clopped down on your cleats.
I was like, I just want you to know, France is a food desert. And then
they just said, "Bouf, Américain."
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, what an idiot!" And then as soon as I got across the street, there was a delightful bakery that was open that I was able to go into, and some Italian motorcyclists were also there complaining about the same restaurant. So we commiserated.
A new alliance was formed.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, I should explain the Alsatian techno. This is not for our English listeners. This is not a bunch of German Shepherd dogs listening to techno. These are French people from the region of Alsace-Lorraine, which are known. They're known as Alsatians. Who, they just live in the area. So not dogs listening to music, but just French people listening to dodgy techno.
Yeah, good climb though, Grandpa.
Yeah, it was a really nice memory. But good food to be had everywhere.
What was your highlight in, let's say, Switzerland and Austria in the Alps?
Yeah, I really enjoyed all of Austria. To be honest, it was a surprise for me. I really liked the people. A couple of times they went out of their way to be hospitable and make sure. Somebody put me up at their B&B, did my laundry, and gave me a nice beer as soon as I got there, and I left one of my exposure lights in the pub, of course, and was able to go there early in the morning to get it back, because an exposure light is not something you want to leave behind. Those are very pricey. Innsbruck and Salzburg were definitely highlights. I think the Kutai was really cool. I saw some other riders. I saw M up there, and I think Peter. Peter Kuhn, yeah.
And Wilson and Peter Kuhn, yeah.
Yeah. M was already pretty sick. I could hear coughing off in the distance, so it didn't sound good. But
I think she stayed in the hotel up there for a whole day.
I think so. Yeah. I was sleeping in a bus stop, of course, and both Peter and Em pointed out to me that I didn't need to, that there was a very nice hotel right behind me.
I think they were quite pricey, but hey.
It was pretty pricey, but I checked in anyway. I was totally soaking wet and didn't really want to descend with wet clothes. I had spent the whole night coming up the mountain in the rain, and so I was quite wet. And I checked in and had a great time. I checked in at 7 a.m, and she was like, "Well, we need to clean the room up." I'm like, "No, you don't. You don't need to clean the room up. Just let me into any room." And so I had a good meal there. And
did you get a view of the Kutai Dam? I mean, a lot of people had such terrible conditions like rain and fog that they didn't get the view, which I really wanted them to see.
Well, I don't think I got the view you wanted me to see, but I did get a nice view in the morning of the general area from the hotel. I have a nice picture of it. Part of it's being blocked by my multiple plates of pancakes, but it's like a portrait window out to the hills. It was a beautiful spot. I did see a lot of wild horses, who I don't, based on how fast they ran away from me when I cycled up to them, I don't think they're fans of New Order. So I think that scared them. But yeah, that was a great spot. And the Panorama Strasse near Salzburg was great as well. And that's where I met my Austrian superfan, Helmut, who, I think probably a lot of the riders have this experience during the race where they'll stop somewhere, prop their bike up against a pole, and then they'll see, somebody's looking at their bags, their bike, and they know that they might get some questions soon about what they're doing. And so Helmut sidled over, lit a cigarette, and proceeded to ask me all sorts of questions about my bike, what I was doing. And he knew a lot about the area and was a pretty avid cyclist. But then I made clear to him, I'm in a race, and like I'm in the back, and here are some of the other riders. And so he downloaded the app, wrote my name down, and then was like, wish me good luck. I waved goodbye to him, pedaled for 20 minutes. Then all of a sudden, a car is just honking, drives up really fast to me, and it's Helmut yelling out the window, "Go, go, go. Luca's just ahead of you. He's 20 minutes up the road. You can catch him." And I'm like, "Helmut, I have thousands of kilometers to go. I'm not launching an attack after dinner."
Come on, man. Put your finger out.
So this is Luca Trombella was just ahead of you. And he wanted you to attack.
Yeah. So Helmut had become obsessed with me catching Luca. He had just heard of this race 10 minutes ago. And then, so I waved goodbye to him, and his wife's like, "Please, Helmut, stop." And then I see him again a couple miles later. He had pulled over into a lay-by and was just screaming. I think he may have been the director sportive of a cycling team in a past life. I don't know. He was really into it.
Stay on the pedals, Jason.
Yeah. I was about to go up the huge climb, and he was really upset that I was going to be there at night too. So like you probably would have been too, Ian. He was sad that I was going to miss the great views, which even in early evening, I could see looking down towards Salzburg, how beautiful it was.
Yeah, I always enjoyed that conversation where riders are told like, "Oh yeah, someone said it was great. I didn't see it because it was nighttime. And they said I should come back." I tried to explain that wasn't really the whole point of this event that I was doing.
Yeah, I feel like I have a bad habit of missing those scenic climbs during the night. But, what can you do?
Sleep more at nights and just ride during the day.
So that's good advice. Yeah.
I mean, looking forward to chapter 3. We'll be in Norway. We won't quite have the midnight sun, but it will just be like twilight in the darkest hours. So you'll still need that exposure light that you left behind and retrieved.
Yes,
but you should see quite a lot more, especially further north that we get. So that would be my advice, to enjoy the beautiful sights.
big question for myself now is, do I get a really cheap drone to bring with me? Because I need to provide top quality footage for my fans back home. So I'm really considering it. It seems like a great place for drone footage. So
How big is the Jason Vail fan club?
It's not big, but it's hopefully getting bigger as I release some more of the video footage that I've been editing from last year. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say how big it is currently, but
it's not about size; it's about the passion of the supporters.
Oh, there's helmet. Yeah, helmet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have his contact details, or is he already?
No, I didn't. I don't think his last name. I do have it. I do have a picture of him out in front of this restaurant.
If it's meant to be, yeah. He will find you.
He knew all about Philadelphia and had been here before, so which was quite amazing.
Have you checked outside? This is my next question.
Yeah. Is he outside? Yeah. Is he outside? He's out there with a boombox on his shoulder.
Door. Yeah. Knock at the door, and he'll be here.
Well, it sounded like you had some great, wonderful and slightly bizarre, maybe a little bit OTT encounters with some slightly Germanic people, Alsatians, Austrians, and so forth. How about the Mediterranean people? What was that like as an old Spanish man that you feel your soul is really?
I mean, Italy is always. I mean, obviously, we started in Giovinazzo, and that's a great place to start and fuel up before the race. But yeah, I think the first night I very unwisely decided not to eat a proper meal for 8 hours. Still not sure why. So I was a little bit dehydrated and hungry and sad, and ended up in this village not too far from Avellino, I don't think. Probably a few hours riding. Booked into had a coffee at a cafe, and the guy was like, "Well, you don't, what are you doing? Do you need a place to stay?" And I was like, "Well, I could actually use one." And say, "Well, there's a B&B down the street." So I booked a room on Booking.com. The guy called me up and proceeded to tell me in Italian that he didn't actually have a room, and was that was that okay? And I said, well, not really. So then pretty soon he had left to come fetch me on the street with somebody else, a German Italian woman who he knew, who lived in the town during the summer, who knew English. She explained to me that he didn't have a room, but I was going to sleep in his bedroom. So they were going to take me back to his house, and I would sleep in his bedroom. And at that point, I still didn't know if he was going to be in the room too, or what the situation was going to be. But he woke his mother up from her sleep to come clean his room out so that I could sleep there, because he didn't have a room in his B&B. And I kept pleading with him to let his mother go back to bed, and that the room didn't need to be clean. But yeah, I mean, just classic Italian hospitality. And I had the Steffi was the woman doing the translating, and I made sure that she explained to him how, over the top this kind of Italian hospitality was, and he was just like, that's the way we do it, yeah.
It does sound like a series of wonderful encounters. I mean, other than the French desert of food, how did you find the food in the other countries? You said German bakeries were pretty good. Netherlands, any problems there?
No problems there, because when I arrived at the finish, actually, in the prologue, they opened the kitchen back up for me, even though it had been closed for quite a while. So I had called ahead a few hours before that to let them know I was going to arrive, and they told me later that they didn't really understand what I was saying, but that they were pretty sure I was one of the riders from VIA. So the last one, as it turned out. So he did. I think one of the fellows there waited for me, opened the kitchen up, made me soup, listened to my stories. Yeah, I mean, any food would have been delicious for me at that point, because it was a real struggle to get to the finish. I was really sort of limping home
with the Achilles,
with Achilles problems, it just became really tough, I think, in Germany before the sort of the last two gates or checkpoints. I think it just really I started to have little meltdowns, throughout the day where I would look off in the distance and see a hill and just start cursing myself. I think it's maybe something a lot of riders experience towards the end, where you're just sort of over it, but you're going to finish. And it's like, I think my family has to bear the brunt of it on phone calls where I'm like almost in tears telling my brother-in-law that I don't think I'm ever going to be able to leave Germany,
Oh,
that the border just keeps getting further away. He's like, no, I can see you. You're going to make it. But yeah, just,
how did you like the ending to the chapter 2 route? So how flat it was, and for me, I wanted it to be safe for everybody to finish without fear of being run over, because that did actually happen in chapter 1 when somebody got run over. I think, or I think it was Sergio Cristano. He had to scrap 50k from the finish.
Yeah, I remember he got sort of plowed into a barrier on the side of the road, didn't he? Yeah. No, it was a great finish. And at points, I think I even had a tailwind, a pretty substantial tailwind at points. So, and the very last part was really nice up the Emmerangenberg or whatever they call it there.
The Emmerangseberg, yes.
Yeah. That was a really nice little ending through the woods up that hill. Even though I think there was a detour everybody had to deal with coming into the town, but yeah, it was good.
We'll have to talk about that in another episode. That the closed road just before the Emmerangseberg.
It's still closed?
I don't know.
We'll find out. We will find out.
Yeah.
I was just in Emmerang. I was just in Emmerang a couple of weeks ago when we came back from Norway, and we had a little bit of time to kill, so we stopped at De Prologue and visited the staff there and had a chat with Barry and Thomas and so forth, and found out how their progress was with preparations for chapter 3. But yeah, the Emmerangseberg, we went over all 69 meters of the mountain that is the Emmerangseberg. We'll be going over it again next year. This
highest point in the Netherlands.
I don't actually think it is. It's
I don't think it is.
The highest in the North. But I think in the south, near to Maastricht, they have higher points that might go up to above sea level.
Yeah, I think they do. They have some hills down there.
So what are your expectations for chapter 3? So we've lived through some of your memories and stories of chapter 1 and 2. Super fans, accommodation, highlights, and animals. What do you expect of chapter 3? What's in your mind when you think about what's going to happen this year in July and August?
Well, it feels to me like a little bit of a race to get to Norway. And particularly for somebody like me that maybe has to manage their time a lot more smartly. Like I want to make sure that I can get to the finish. And so a lot of ferries, I guess. That's one expectation that I'll be hoping to pick the right ferries and get them on time. But yeah, mostly just I think the Norwegian fjords and mountains and all the riding. I'm really looking forward to the wild camping possibilities in Norway. I feel like it's going to be really some of the best that I will have experienced. So I think there's going to be a lot of places I can sleep for the night and get water and be pretty comfortable sleeping outside, I think.
For sure, that's the Scandinavian Allemannsritter, so all men's rights to roam the countryside without worrying about trespassing, and to be able to wild camp wherever you like, and getting clean water and resupply food, and to be safe. But yes, the fjords are where it's at. I mean, a lot of people talk about North Cape, but that's Finnmark, and that's the far north of Norway, which is far flatter. Where the fjords are, that's where you get the bucket list places that the influencers really want to go to, like Geiranger, the Atlantic highway over the sea, Trollstigen, and on and on and on. There's so many beautiful places, so I'm sure you will enjoy them.
much more. But yeah, I don't think you need to worry so much about ferries because they're so frequent. Especially when you're in Norway, they can be every 20 minutes. And, if you've got 20 minutes to kill, you can go to the toilet. There are toilets at the ferry ports. You can resupply. There's often a shop at the ferry port. There's all sorts of things that you can do with your time. So I think anxiety about ferries is not really a real thing when you get there and you live through that.
Yeah. And you promised us it's probably not going to rain all that much and it's going to be warm. So, yeah.
Well, Super El Nino this year.
Oh, okay.
So we don't actually know what's going to happen. In the south, just like in 2024, it's predicted to be heat waves all summer. And we don't really want that for our riders. But the Super El Nino, it's unpredictable for both the UK and for Scandinavia, although it's probably going to hit the UK harder if it's heat or rain. Hopefully, we'll have some really nice temperatures like Norway did last year while we were doing Chapter 2. As Ivan said, 10 days of 30 degrees plus is what they had. So that's their heat wave.
I've noticed a certain other races decided to start in Norway this year. So, yeah.
I'm not sure why certain other races decide to copy our routes, be it routes of Hannibal starting from Spain and finishing in Italy, or going to Norway. So I can't comment on that.
That was a good route to copy. I did enjoy that Spanish leg from VIA 1. That was great.
The Picos, especially.
Picos into the Pyrenees, yeah. That was
I always think that I would like to go back to a number of these places. I'd go back to Cartagena, I'd go back to Giovinazzo, I'd go back to the Picos, the Pyrenees, the Alps. The Picos especially, I haven't spent much time in. Do you have any plans to go back to Europe for a proper tour of, investigating these places in more depth and spending more time rather than racing over, and actually being able to relax and spend that time, maybe bring your girlfriend over?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I have tried to drum up some interest with some TCR buddies that I've made in the past to do some riding in Greece or Spain. I mean, I'd love to go to the Pyrenees again. I really thought they were great. I was really surprised by how awesome the Pyrenees were, the Spanish and French portion. But yeah, I would like to have a more chilled out cycle tour. And Greece is another country that I enjoyed riding in. Yeah, I find these races are a great way to do it, though. It's actually, I tell people that ask me why I don't just have a nice cycle vacation, and I try to explain to them that these races are a great way to see a country. I'm certainly not going that fast that I can't pick up, all the experiences and the scenery. So,
what advice now you've done 5 4,000 kilometer races, or you will have done 5? That's much more than I have. I mean, I've done lots of ultra races, but not so many. I haven't found the time. What advice would you have for example, newbies, people who've not done a 4,000 kilometer race before? So your first timers, because you enjoy yourself, and that's why I think you come back year after year. I mean, you tell me why you will be a trilogy rider. Why are you coming back a third time in a row?
Yeah, I mean, I just love cycling all day through these countries, and I do like the race aspect of it a lot. So
but
that's
why VIA though?
Yeah, well, I think VIA is I would say it's if you're going to pick a first ultra to do, I would say VIA is a great first one to do. You guys will watch out for the racers, and I think even just small things like when you transport our bags to the finish is a huge benefit. But I think it's a friendly community of riders. So it's a good first ultra to tackle. It's still a big chunk of riding to take on. A few of the reasons that I would recommend VIA. I think also the routes you pick are good. Last year, for instance, you gave a nice option in Italy for us to take a safer route to go north to the Alps, which I think almost everybody took advantage of, maybe even Adam. And yeah, these are all great reasons to try VIA. Advice for newbies. I think my top two pieces of advice for newbies. The thing I wish I had done better the first time I did an ultra was, I think the routing, and it may be coming from America, I was even more naive than another rider who had ridden in Europe would have been. But I think just picking, not trying to stay on back rural country roads as much, but sticking a little bit closer to some of the main roads where you're going to have more services, food, resupply, and places to stay. It's going to be flatter. It's going to be faster most of the time. So I would highly recommend an approach, a routing approach more like that, where you're obviously not on an A road, but a B road that looks safe and that is going to get you there with food, with places to sleep, and it's probably going to be flatter. So that's some top advice. I would also say, you hinted at it earlier, Ian, which establish a good sleep pattern and start at the beginning of the race. Decide what your sleep plan is going to be and try to stick to it. Ride during the day, sleep at night, whatever your cadence, whatever you decided that you want it to be. I mean, sticking to a good, consistent sleep plan is a great idea as well. But also don't panic no matter what happens. Don't scratch at night, of course. There's always, all sorts of problems arise. It's in many ways, it's a problem-solving exercise where you have, all sorts of things can go wrong. And just taking a moment and, even having a beer and relaxing and just forgetting about the race for a second and then resetting and trying to solve whatever problem you have. Sometimes that can be helpful too. I mean, I know I've been in some really tight spots where I've just kind of chilled out, relaxed, almost unofficially quit for 30 minutes and come back and been able to figure out a way to keep going when it seems like it's impossible. And just because you might miss a gate or a checkpoint, or maybe in VIA we have the refuges, right, that do close. That's no reason to stop either. Because I think I probably never made one on time. I think I almost made the French refuge the first year by like 10 minutes, but continue on no matter what, within reason, as long as you're safe.
I think this year you will make the refuge because it will be open much longer. There will only be one refuge, but
awesome.
It's going to be open quite a long time. And because the start is relatively flat, you should be moving quite fast in the first days. I mean, certainly Netherlands and Denmark, very flat, and then Sweden, a few more hills, and then we start to see mountains. I think the first mountain climb will be up to the refuge. It's not a hard one. It's not a steep one either. So
yeah, it's just seeing footage of people swimming in the pool and watching the Olympics from the first year. So yeah.
That would be Ivan. So those are some really great bits of advice. If somebody were to take all these bits of advice and to learn about ultracycling, learn about themselves, I think it would be a big win for them to develop themselves, to know more about themselves. And what would you say you've learned about yourself and how you've developed over what will be 3 chapters of VIA in the last 2 years, maybe even longer than that? What have you learned yourself?
Yeah, I would say I've really gotten more confidence in my resourcefulness, my problem solving, but also maybe the biggest thing, the most helpful learning has been to not beat myself up over the things that I just know that I'm not good at. Like I just need to try to do a little bit better. But the things that I keep doing that I can improve on, maybe sometimes making some impulsive decisions that I could maybe be more patient with myself and maybe just plan better, be more patient. I think I've been able to learn during these races. Even though you're at the back of the pack and things aren't going perfectly, and you have these issues and problems, that you're still finishing an ultra race. It's got 150,000 feet of climbing. It's a pretty big achievement. I think for anybody that finishes. Yeah, patience with yourself. Forgive yourself sometimes for making, it feels like you make the same mistakes over and over again sometimes in these things, but it's probably fine. You're still moving ahead. You're still moving forward. You're still getting to the destination. The point isn't to, win anyway.
I mean, you come a long way. Final question from us to round things off. What brings you to we talked about making the sacrifice of taking time off for a holiday and having to beg the boss for extra weeks and things. And, it's a long old trip to get from Philadelphia over to Europe and plan everything around that. What is it that drives? Is it that sense of kind of adventure and exploration that drives you to come over?
Yeah, I think it is. I think also just like the romance of cycling in Europe is a real thing, probably for Americans. It's where we really see the home of cycling, being obviously with the Tour de France, Giro d'Italia, the Vuelta, all the classics. And I'm a bit of a bike nerd, probably not as much as you, Pete, with all the bike.
No one needs to be that much of a bike.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoy just all the bikiness of it, all the bike. I built my own bike for the race, just from from eBay frame parts and other bits and pieces. But yeah, I think just the romance of cycling in Europe is a lot of it. We have some pretty cool stuff here with the Tour Divide, and I've done Unbound a couple times, but it's a totally different thing, cycling in Europe. And when you're over there, I mean, you do pick up the passion that people have for cycling. I mean, it's really strong in all of these countries: Italy, Germany, France, the Netherlands. It's a pretty big deal. I know it's a big deal in Scandinavia too. So yeah. That's part of the allure and what brings me over.
And it's a great excuse for a holiday.
Yeah, and it's a good but it's once I get over there, I do like to enjoy myself. It's not as easy for me as it is for you guys to travel around from country to country. But I mean, we have some Australians doing it too, I guess, right?
Yeah. It's. I mean, I think that's one of the heartening things that we really proud of, to be able to attract people to make that kind of commitment to come back distance and then come back, and then return. It's we will be delighted to see you at the start in not that many months now.
It's been great to catch up with you, Jason. It's been great to hear some of your stories from chapter 1 and 2, and to hear your expectations for chapter 3, to hear about your life, your background, and I hope that the community will know you a bit better now. So thanks very much for joining us. Thanks very much for listening.
Thank you, Ian. Thanks, Pete. Great to talk to you.
Jason. Nice to see you, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
You can email us a question at info@via-race.com, whether you're a rider or a member of the public. And to help support the podcast, please like this episode and give us a follow on Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or visit our website, or do all of them. We're a very small team with a focus on growing the ultracycling community, the VIA community, and furthering the sport of ultracycling. So your support is greatly appreciated. Links are in the notes below. See you next time, and goodbye.